Hey everyone, and welcome to this beautiful update with me, Maria Drop in the Sea, and Dancing Moon Tarot and Catherine. And we're coming to you today with something exciting and new that we're trying because we love each other's company a lot. We've done a lot of private readings together, but we want to share this with the world. So we're going to pull tarot cards and we're going to integrate that beautiful reading together with like the reading of the energy in the collective together with astrology, and we're going to create this beautiful little package forecast that is going to, I believe, feel very profound and create an understanding for where we are right now. And we're going to be doing these continually.
Yeah, it's a new series that we're wanting to start and try out and probably experiment as we go around. So it's
Hmm.
exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, let's get
So we're
going.
gonna, yeah, so we're gonna use the Wild Unknown deck, which just has great imagery. There's no humans in it, and it's just a lot of beautiful, beautiful cards in here. Um, So yeah, before we do any kind of reading, I usually bless the cards with myself, but also the person. And so I invite you also to get into this space. We'll just close our eyes for probably 30 seconds. Think about what you want to get from this, this moment. Maybe what you're looking for right now is some clarity, or maybe you're wanting a sign or something. And if you give that intention, that is probably what you will get.
Mm.
So I like to just imagine some light shining on me. And then I personally ask to be open to receiving all messages and for it to be for the good of the collective.
Mm.
But you can do whatever you want during this, little blessing of the cards.
Beautiful. I love that. Let's start
All
with
right.
that.
So we just take a deep breath and imagine what you're wanting to get out of this, tarot reading and astrological energy update. Wonderful.
Hmm.
Um, So what we said the last time, Marie, was that to see what we were even going to talk about, because often like Marie and I will just have conversations and it'll be depending on what we're going through. And we thought it'd be fun to ask the cards what we should discuss today. So I'm
Let the
going to begin.
universe decide. Instead of
Let
coming
the,
in with a preset agenda and say, hey, we're going to talk about the theme for January, we're going to talk about the theme of the card.
okay, so we got interesting.
Mm.
It's the Eight of Cups. And Marie, you know this, but it's what's important when you're doing a tarot reading with somebody is that your interpretation and what you see in the cards is just as important as what the reader sees. The reader is often there to help you kind of guide you, maybe because we know the meaning of the cards, but remember to follow your intuition. You know that because
Mhm.
you do it yourself with your own cards too.
Yeah.
Um, so the Eight of Cups, before I say, do you have some ideas of what this card is bringing up to you?
Well, the first thing that came to my attention was the broken glass. And also, obviously, that huge, big black mountain that seemed like this insurmountable space. Like, how am I ever going to get up there? And it just automatically brings me into the space where we are right now, where we're leaving so many things behind. And we know that we are shedding our, from the wood snake into the fire horse, and just kind of that looking at that broken glass, perhaps being sad, that it's broken. It's been something that we've used for a long time. It's been useful. We've been drinking out of it and so forth. But now it's just broken at our feet. And then we look up at this humongous mountain and we're wondering, so what now? Like, I don't even
Mhm.
have my tools. How am I supposed to move up there now?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that because this card is about that. It's about leaving behind what we've known for a long time.
Hmm.
It's actually funny in this card, though, I find it's almost easier to leave it because the cups are broken. In a lot of decks, the cups are actually full and plentiful. And
Okay.
it's about leaving behind something that might look perfect on paper for everybody else, and nobody understands why you don't like it, but somehow you know you have to move on from
Mm.
whatever it is. And it's often something that we've been building for a long time. Because again, usually the cups are actually not broken, which I find is actually makes this easier because when the cups are broken, then the decision to leave something behind is easier, I find, than
Right.
when it's full and everybody keeps telling you, well, you know, this is great. Like, what are you doing?
I love that because also it's sort of this, you might be heartbroken because something broke, your
Yeah.
relationship, you lost your job, you had to move somewhere, somebody close to you is maybe having an illness, or maybe you're having an illness and it feels like you're broken, feels like something broke, but it also is life way of telling you that, oh, it's time to move on.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
old system no longer works. This is a kind of like a little indicator from the universe, or sometimes a really hard kick in the butt that we need to step forward.
Yeah. And it's
Mm.
true that you mentioned that too. I mean, it's funny because so as much as it's easier, this card, I find that this card feels so dark compared to sometimes the more traditional versions of this card. Because it's just so heavy. There's something really heavy about this card. And as you say, that mountain to cross over doesn't seem like it's very inviting. It doesn't seem like it's just like, okay, now I've decided to move away from these broken glasses, but it'll be a cinch now. I'm just going to go on my way. You can kind of see that it's not necessarily easy. But what is beautiful also about this card, I do find, is that often it's also a reminder that you will be leaving that situation even if it is hard, that you will have the strength, but also that you'll know when to leave the situation. Because sometimes I find that that is something that's kind of difficult when we're going through something like this, is that we kind of know that it might be everything broken,
Yeah.
but we don't always feel because the mountain seems so huge. We don't know
Mhm.
when to go or how to go or how are we going to get across that mountain.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And it's
maybe
so
we,
it's interesting because it's one great illusion, right? The mountain appears this crazy thing, but then we actually start walking and we realize, oh, I can climb this mountain, but we won't do it because everything is broke, until everything is broken. I feel
mm,
like this is such a perfect card that we pulled right now because I'm sensing into the fact that and I speak to many people, that we're in this, that's exactly where we are right now. So I don't see how you could have pulled a better card today. I mean, this is like the indicator of the universe, like talk about this.
and it's true that right now, I don't know about you, but the world does seem very kind of
Yes.
crazy broken. And
Yeah.
and I feel like we know it's broken,
Mm.
but it also seems like we don't know how to fix it or
Yeah.
where to go next. It's
Yeah.
like this very complicated and heavy emotion right now of
Mm.
what is the next step.
Hmm.
Um, but what I love about tarot, and as I know in the work that you do too, is
Yeah.
when these cards show up, it's never negative. They're here to help us and guide us. So, shall we pick another card and see maybe
We
what should we ask?
should. And I think you said the sentence as to what we are supposed to look at. What are the next steps?
Yeah, let's
How
have a
can
look.
we get, collectively get over that mountain, and also on an individual level? What are some advice to us on this journey?
I say we pick like three cards for that.
I say you're right.
Have a look. One more. Sometimes they pop out, sometimes
Hmm.
don't. All right. Wow. So we got the magician,
Ooh.
we got the Son of Swords,
Hmm.
and we got the Four of Cups. Interesting cups coming up.
Yes.
Interesting. In this one, there's a cup, and in
Yes.
this, there's four cups.
There's new cups.
There's new cups.
Hmm.
So if you want, we can go through each one of these individually and then pull them back together.
Mm.
Well, first of all, yeah, what is this card to you? This one's, I love this card when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
I do too. You know what's really beautiful about that? It has kind of all of the four elements, it has the cup, it has the wand, it has the pentacle, and yeah. So to me, this is a very powerful card. And look at the expression of the beautiful, is it a cheetah or
I
a
think so. I
leopard?
think it's a cheetah or leopard.
Cheetah. Yeah, and it has the infinity sign on its chest. It has a beautiful explosion of power behind its head.
The sun.
Yes, and so
Yeah.
it's kind
So
of
contrasting.
right. So it's bringing you power at your deepest need and filling your cup, as we saw on the other cards, but also giving you all of the other new tools that you didn't even have before. You only had broken cups, but now you have everything, and even your son is backing you.
Hmm. But this is, the magician is exactly what you just said, which is it's about remembering that you have already all the tools at your feet.
Mm,
You don't need to go looking. The mountain might seem insurmountable. No, can't get over it, but you can because you actually do have all the tools that you will need. Um, there's also, this card is often linked to manifesting as well, and about taking action towards that. So sometimes it's, like as we said, sometimes we just don't know even how to start, but sometimes it might just be by taking action, taking that first step. We've
mm.
often talked about it together
Yeah,
with how, like we both started our YouTube channels, and at the beginning, it does seem like that huge mountain, right? It's not the same thing. It's not like our glasses were all broken, but huge mountains seem, you don't even know where to begin. But if you just start one little step in front of the other,
yeah,
you can get there.
yeah.
So,
What I also
um,
love is, the cheetah is an extremely fast animal. And it
mhm,
can go, at least short distances, it can go incredibly fast. So even though, as you said, you start slowly on that journey, before you know it, you can, by leaps and jumps, you can get there so fast because
yeah.
now you're putting your manifestation power into that area and you're shifting your focus and you're saying, hey, how do I do this? What are the tools that I already have in my toolbox? How can I surmount, pass over this mountain? And all of a sudden, this card comes to your rescue, and it's like, wow, it can actually go really fast and really easy.
I love that you say that, Marie, because I agree with you in the sense that sometimes, like, we don't take the action because it seems huge, but I do think we need to remember that when we are aligned and when you decide and you believe that it can be done, I do think that miracles can happen, and as a miracle, it goes fast. You
Mm,
can't you can't
100%.
understand how it's going to work. You don't need to. You just need to start taking the little action that you can, and then you're going to have, as you said, this huge sun and energy is going to come and propel you, and that's coming from the exterior.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And look how
so
focused that animal is. I want to say she because it looks like a she to
yeah,
me, but look how
yeah.
focused she is. It's like laser focus. You just shift your focus like she's doing, and you'll start to see new solutions to your problems.
Also, is this card backwards on this screen, or are you seeing it? Are you seeing the magician written
Correctly. Yeah.
correctly? Okay, perfect. Well, because as a result, you'll also notice that the cheetah is looking to the right, right?
Hmm.
Which is looking towards the future. In
Yes.
tarot, when you look to the left, it means you're looking to the past. And when you're looking to the
Hmm.
right, you're looking towards the future. So this is also a reminder to keep in a way. You know how sometimes if you're looking too down, it's hard to see, but if you look up, you can see so much further ahead.
Mhm.
And it also helps with that kind of perception of like distances or
Yes.
things to surmount.
Thank you for that reminder because that's important.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting too that the second card came out with this sword, because like the sword here is so big, and here also the
Yeah.
sword just seems like a huge
Yeah.
like very visual. And the
Yes.
Son of Swords, swords and tarot have to do with our mind and our thoughts. And it's interesting that you mentioned the speed,
Mm.
because I find that there's a lot of oops. I think that there's a lot of speed in this card too.
Yes. Yes.
There's a definite focus.
Hmm.
So these are the tools. This is how what can we help? What are the next steps?
Mm.
And the Son of Swords is all about being swords are about our thoughts, our thought patterns, and I think it's about mastering them and pointing them in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I see laser focus here.
yeah,
Look at
yeah,
that. Look at those eyes. Look at the like passion of where this animal is trying to go. And
yeah,
look at the strength of the thought, the
yeah,
sword. It's like, this is where I'm going. So it's almost as if, okay, here are all your tools. The cheetah had all the tools. The owl chose the laser focus of the thought to look into the future and now aiming for its goal. Like, this is
yeah.
where I want to go. This is kind of the next step on my journey. I'm going this way. And what I also came to me is, as we in the beginning we were talking about, that shedding and the glasses are breaking and the wood snake. And we know that we're moving into that really, really fast fire horse. And these
Mm,
animals are incredibly fast. And when they find their target, it's another animal that they want to, it's like, boom, it's
mhm.
done. They're so efficient when they know what they want.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us that we're going into that snake, the fire horse, and
Yes.
that both the fire horse both have speed like
Yes.
this.
And we're also going into, all of the outer planets are going to be in fire and air signs by April, which means
Wow.
that we're moving from, water and earth, the sort of more grounding energies, and we're moving into really, really fast energies. And look at that owl fly in this powerful energy. And you had the
Of
sun, the fire behind the cheetah. So we
Yeah.
have these two elements coming through very strongly here, I would say, and kind of telling us, put your focus and your aim in this direction. Use the wind and the fire to move you in that direction. The fire could be
Mhm,
your passion, right? And the
mhm.
wind could be your thoughts, whatever's flowing through your mind, and then use your laser focus to move in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah. Also, I find that it's interesting too because what we always hear about is, where you put your attention is where what's going to grow. And so I do think it's a reminder, are you focusing on what you lost or are you focusing on where you're going? And it's so much easier said than done. I know that when, your glasses are broken, sometimes you do need to take some time to, think about them and to grieve a bit, and that's okay too. But it's true just to be mindful of where you're going,
Mhm.
and what you're doing. And to be, I think also, since we didn't get a higher court card here in because this is the next steps, is to be gentle with ourselves as we grow, to remember that we are learning, that we're not like masters yet of our thoughts or everything, and that's okay too. But just to remember of like as anybody, as we grow up, we need to learn, and so as a result, we need to exercise. And when we exercise ourselves, well, it's sometimes about, being very conscious so that it then becomes a habit and you don't even need to think about it.
Right.
Um,
I
so
love that. Knowing that you're still practicing something, knowing
yeah,
that you're the disciple, you're not yet the master, and
yeah,
being humble in that. When you change courses in life, whatever it is that you're changing, and whatever situation people that are listening are finding themselves in, we're not going to be masters on the first day. We
no.
need to
Yeah.
be able to allow ourselves to fail and do so possibly many times. The cheetah doesn't catch every single prey. It catches maybe every 15th or 20th, but it doesn't
Yeah.
stop hunting.
Yeah, good. I love that. That's really wonderful. And then we got this last card. So this is the
Mm.
Four of Cups. What do you see in that, Marie?
I feel a lot of protective energy here. I see that it's almost like, okay, I made it over the mountain with the speed of the cheetah. I had my focus. Look at this. Now I gathered 4 cups here, and these are my new cups. And now I kind of want to, because it's almost like I want to celebrate and I want to, how should I say? I want to put these cups into my little nest
Hmm.
so that maybe it'll give me a little break and then I'll take off on my next journey.
Wow, I love that. That's a beautiful way of seeing that. It's interesting because the Four of Cups is often sometimes considered about like Actually, sometimes it's about being bored, but that's not necessarily a bad way. It's also like being mindful of what's being offered to you and maybe not, sometimes it's about not seeing the opportunities being offered,
Mm,
but sometimes it's also about being very picky and saying, no, what's being offered is not yet exactly what I want yet. So I love what you're saying about like almost taking a resting period here.
yeah,
So the next but it's interesting too here. There is something I almost feel like he's hoarding the
yeah.
cups too. Um, and a little bit stuck in the darkness because of that,
Hmm.
instead of maybe going more towards the light. But maybe that's a part of the journey,
Hmm.
It's a part of the journey sometimes is that, you kind of either, I'm wondering if it's almost trying to hold on to these cups that are broken,
Hmm.
or if they're the new cups you're mentioning too,
Mm.
but almost trying like it's almost like how sometimes like we don't like the emptiness, so like we just take these new cups because we almost feel like we need to replace these ones.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, but I feel like it's
yeah,
maybe an in between an in between moment here.
yeah. And I also think that both of those kind of ideas that you presented is going to feel more resonance or not with the people that are viewing this. So
Exactly.
one person is going to feel, oh, maybe I am trying to fix what I already have. Another person is going to feel, oh, this is a perfect resting moment for me in this in-between state. But I think also if you hold up all the three cards kind of next to each other now,
Yeah.
because I love the fact that we also got the moon. So you have the
Yeah.
sun and you have the
Yeah.
moon. You have tremendous speed in the middle. So it's almost like the cheetah's looking at the laser focus of the
And so is
owl,
the rat.
and then the rat is looking also. He's kind of looking backwards, which solidifies your message of looking a little bit at the past.
Yeah. But it's
So,
interesting because when you put them like this, the cheetah and the rat are looking at each other and looking at
yeah, the
um
action.
the action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what I love is moons and tarot do have to do with our subconscious and our intuition. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's also about um,
Mm.
taking that into consideration with the sun, with the
Yeah,
action, but
yeah,
also I love your idea of this resting period
yeah.
because sometimes it is when we rest and that we really start to think about, well, what are these new cups that we want? You
Yes.
know, are
Yeah.
we hoarding them because we're scared of what comes next, or are these really what we want now?
Mm-hmm.
Have and to use our intuition to know that.
Yes.
And it's okay sometimes to also be in a period where you have something temporary that is reassuring. We also
Yeah.
need to adapt to our emotional systems and
Mhm.
our bodies to let things go in progression.
100%. And also, when you were holding them up next to each other, it's almost like two still animals, one being the sun that's kind of projecting outwards, the other one being the moon that's going inwards. And they're both focusing on a very focused. So it's using both your intuition and your expression in your laser focus of finding your next target. So
Hmm.
so knowing that moving forward, there's going to be tremendous amount of activity, but there's no need for you can't just always be in your yin energy and you can't
Yeah.
always be in your yang energy. You have to kind of bring both of those with you all the time and balance your action moving
Yeah.
forward.
And I want to come back to what you were saying here about the resting period and bringing it back to this. Sometimes this card is linked to boredom,
Mm.
and that we tend to, I think, want to avoid boredom. But I can't remember if it was with you or with somebody else, but I was having this conversation recently that boredom is such an important thing to go through. Oh,
Yes.
it was with you.
It was with me. And we were
So
talking about how you need to be bored in order to get creativity and inspiration and passion to do something new.
exactly. But
Yeah.
so you have to sometimes be willing to stay in that uncomfortable boredom of
Mhm.
maybe, again, like maybe you only have 4 cups, when as before you had 8, and you're still, it's this, you're kind of yeah, you're something's missing, but you don't know what yet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
maybe all the options right now being presented to you are not exactly right, or maybe yeah, you're just feeling kind of lethargic, but in a way, not to resist that. That is actually can be a tool because as you just said, from boredom and from stillness and from rest, a lot comes from that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I actually
So,
think these three cards are a beautiful combination in exactly what we were asking for. You know, what are some tips on how to move forward? And I think it's beautiful. You have all the tools. The power of the sun and your self-expression is there. You know how to focus and use your thought to get what you want to manifest, and you also can allow yourself to rest and know that you're taking these things in steps. You get to
mhm,
one
mhm.
step, then maybe you rest, and then you take another step, and you get to. So it's you're allowed to integrate.
Yeah, I love that. That I think they are a wonderful combo
Yeah,
of tools at our hand right now, and also just a little bit of a guide of how to move forward, even when we don't know exactly where we're going.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
shall we
How
pick
would
a last card as a,
yes.
oh, sorry, go ahead. As a
No, I was
blessing,
going to
like
tell you how would you like to move forward, and you told me the answer that I was thinking. So this is
let's pick
perfect.
good. We're in synchronicity as always.
Yes.
So let's pick one last card for a message of love from our guides or our highest self right now, just as we're going through this and
Mm-hmm.
needing the tools. Sometimes even
Mm-hmm.
if you know what's gonna
Yeah.
help, you kind
Yes.
of want some a little extra support.
Because let's also remember that these can be really hard times. So we're not in any way saying that, oh, this is easy and you just move forward. These are very difficult times for our psyche, for our ego, for our whole personality. So just honoring that as well. And I love the idea of pulling a message from our higher selves to know that we're held and protected.
Hmm. Beautiful. We got another swords card. So very interesting. We had in
Ooh.
this reading quite a lot of swords come up, even if it was only one swords actual card.
Mm.
Um, Beautiful. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I feel moved. This is an absolutely gorgeous card. I love how that infinity sign has so much color, expression, how it's wrapped around the sword, your thought, your vision, and how there's power coming down into that from those flashes of lightning, flashes of insight, but it
Hmm.
also feels such a stable card. That I feel like it's a card of saying this is your hero's journey. The
Hmm.
hero's journey of like the sword, Sir Lancelot, like all the stories that we have a very, very much of a picking up your sword, going on to a journey, and then coming back home in somewhat of a cycle. And I
Mm.
think this is a sign from our higher self saying, you're on the right path, you have your sword, we're right here with you, and this is meant to happen, and this is in perfect synchronicity with who you are in your infinite soul, and how your journey is unfolding here. Yes.
Yeah.
What do you
I
feel?
love this card too. I always feel when I get this card, I feel like that infinity sign is like a coat that's coming to kind of like because it's still it's interesting. A lot of the cards that came up in this
Yeah.
are very dark, you
Yep.
know. There has not been much color, and even in this,
Mm-hmm.
there was only
Yeah.
just a little bit of sunshine.
Yeah.
But and the deck itself is very colorful sometimes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
actually. I'm just
Yeah.
picking up color ones with not much color, but
Yeah.
they can have a lot of color. So I love having this rainbow and the Ace of Swords is all about kind of like freshness, new ideas and as you said, sparks of enlightenment and sparks of kind of like coming flashes coming in through that darkness that are
Mm-hmm.
going to kind of also make you this strong sword that is very kind of I find it's a very powerful symbol also, just that this sword is able to also like be okay even if things are coming at it. Maybe these are good things coming at it and they're
Yeah.
flashes of light and flashes of ideas, but maybe there's also things coming at it and I feel like this is making it invincible. You know, it's
Hmm.
like it can actually deal with and protect itself. And that it is held
Yes, it's very
like
much
that.
wrapped, it's very much held. It feels, it's almost like it has a gentle feeling to it, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
Like the message here is you're being held,
Yeah. It's
you
interesting
know?
too because it's a snake skin.
Yes.
And you know, we do shed our,
Hmm.
you know, you were saying that we're shedding our snake skin to become the horse.
Yeah,
And whenever a snake sheds its skins, it becomes something else afterwards. But it does go through that moment where it might
yeah,
be a bit vulnerable
yeah,
while it's shedding its new
yeah,
skin and having to, the new one needs to become tough.
of
Um,
course. And it also has all the colors of the rainbow, which means that, you know, all the expressions of yourself are in this and they're being held in here. So
yeah,
I think beautiful ending and I the message that's coming through for me is you're being protected, you're being held, we're here, and we're always going to be here.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Mm.
The one thing that came to me as well right now is something that I've actually been kind of debating with these days because I've been really wanting more and more to get away from hardships as way of learning. Like like sometimes I'm like, why? This seems like such a silly system. Like, why would we have to go through so many things? But I read something recently that was just reminding me that like a rock, sometimes that becomes a diamond. It needs pressure and hard things to become that diamond. And so I find that here it's a little bit like this too, that to remember that we become this strong person, not through softness, but through the storms we go through,
Mm.
through moments like this. Through having to climb that mountain, we will become this strong sword that's protected and being able to kind of go through anything and that to remember that while we're going through it. And I find that when I do that, because sometimes I get lost in the mountain and it's so hard, but when I can remember that the mountain is actually for me, the mountain is my teacher. The mountain, what I'm going to learn as I cross over this mountain is going to make me me. And when I remember that, because sometimes I remember it and it makes whatever I'm going through easier because I know it's a lesson for me. But every once in a while you get lost in the whole chaos and you think you forget that you're not telling yourself the right story. You're saying, "Oh, why is this happening to me?" But when you can remember that it is for you, I do find it makes the mountain a lot easier and you can enjoy the view and the climb.
Mm. Oh, I love that. What you just said, 100% beautiful. Put that card back to where it was, and then turn the other one upside down. Look at
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah. Oh, it is the mountain.
That is the mountain.
Wow. Love that. That's beautiful, Marie.
Yeah, I just saw it when you were holding it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what you were just saying, absolutely. And then I saw the symbology. You said the mountain is made for you. It
it
is
is.
and you see it perfectly here. In order for you to become that beautiful version of you, you need that darkness, you need that mountain.
You do. And as hard as it is and as cliche as it sounds sometimes, like really when you can see it that way and you think, "Oh, okay, what am I supposed to learn here? Like
Hmm.
how can I actually enjoy
Hmm.
this hike?"
Yes,
Sometimes people actually climb Mount Everest on purpose and
on
they go
purpose.
and they spend
Yeah,
a lot of money.
yeah, they do.
So if we can imagine that like this is actually us wanting this,
Yeah,
it really can
yeah.
make the experience feel very different.
Exactly. And what you just said with, you know, owning that and really tuning into that, even when it's hard, and seeing that image in front of you means that you're seeing that sword with the expression of you in that mountain turned upside down, and you see it when you start walking.
Mm-hmm,
So that
mm-hmm.
internally you know, instead of coming all the way up on the mountain and, you know, kicking and screaming the whole way up there, getting
Exactly.
up there and being like, huh, this was all for me. instead, in the whole journey, being aware that, oh, I'm climbing this mountain because I'm becoming this person, and I laid this out for myself, planned it for myself so that I could take this beautiful journey because I know I wanted the challenge.
It's exactly that. And that's what everybody always says is to enjoy the journey because as soon as you get up here, you're going to think, wow, I'm so happy I did this. But as you said, it would be so nice. And I think that's what we all need to work on is to be able to enjoy it as we're walking up,
Yeah.
not to do it by kicking and screaming, but
Hmm.
to kind of take a step back and think, okay, well, how can I enjoy this? Even if it's hard, how can
Yeah.
this actually be an enjoyable experience?
Yeah. So this is a reminder from our higher selves. You wanted this, and we're
Yeah.
here. Hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
Wow, thank you for this. This was absolutely amazing. I know I personally got so much out of it. I hope that
Me
people that
too.
listen did as well. And I loved how the cards came up so perfectly.
I love how, as you were mentioning, it's the universe was helping us out and guiding us into what is the message people needed to or wanted to hear today. And I know I got a lot out of it. I think, as you mentioned, it's that the times right now are pretty hard.
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, I love how they seem like a perfect pull, as
Yeah.
always.
As always. And as a collective, we're going to go through this and then we're going to come out on the other side. So I find that very reassuring and very, very beautiful. And I would love for people to actually write down what they sensed and saw and felt as they were watching us speak about it. Perhaps some other things were coming up. I would love for people to comment that below and we're going to try to answer as much as we can. So please feel free to share with us your experience of this.
Please do. And if you see other things in the cards, that's what's so
Hmm.
beautiful about it is what you see again is just as important and also just as meaningful. So
Hmm.
as Marie just said, please share because it's
Hmm.
always exciting to have new elements that we might
Yes.
have missed.
Exactly. And also, if you want to reach out to us for any other reason, we're going to leave all of our information below as well. So we're here for you on this difficult journey.
Yeah.
Thank you for today, Catherine, and we'll be
Oh,
back.
this was wonderful. Will be
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take
Thank you so
care.
much, Marie. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.